Hello everyone, myself Dr. Guru Prasad PS, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Department of Collegiate Education. Today we discuss about properties of normal subgroups. Before going to the properties of normal subgroups, we define a simple group. A group G not equal to an entity is said to be a simple group if it has no proper normal subgroups. In other words, a group G is said to be simple if its only normal subgroups are trivial subgroups. Example, every group of prime order is simple since a group of prime order has no proper subgroup. Because prime order has only two divisors, 1 and p. If there exists a subgroup of prime order, they are only singleton containing identity and whole group itself. That means it has no proper subgroup, therefore it is simple. A cyclic group of composite order is not simple. By Lagrange's theorem, order of subgroup divides order of group, and also we know that every subgroup of a cyclic group is cyclic. Therefore, every except identity and whole group, all the subgroups which divides actually order of the group exists, and they are proper subgroups. Therefore, a cyclic group of composite order is not simple. Similarly, an abelian group of composite order is not simple. Now we go for properties of normal subgroups. A subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G. The idea here is, first we take H, a normal subgroup of G, and we try to prove GH G inverse equal to H. To prove GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G, what we do is, we use the set theoretic idea, that is GH G inverse contained in H and we prove first, then we prove H contained in GH G inverse. So let H be a normal subgroup of G. Then by definition of normal subgroup, we have GH G inverse belongs to H for all H belongs to H and G belongs to G. Therefore, G capital H G inverse is contained in H. Again, let H be any arbitrary element of H. Then for all G belongs to G, we have, you can write H as EHE, where E is the identity element of the group. Then E can be written as GG inverse. So that is the idea what we are using here. So introduce GG inverse, which is E, into H, again GG inverse. So, and using the associativity, we can write G inverse HG into G inverse, and quite naturally it belongs to GH inverse. Here you have to observe, instead of GH inverse, we have G inverse HG. That also actually belongs to capital H, because instead of a element G, you take the element G inverse and apply the definition, that is G inverse H, G inverse whole inverse is G, therefore G inverse HG belongs to H. That proves capital H is contained in GH G inverse. From 1 and 2, you can clearly observe GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G. So conversely, let GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G. I have to prove that H is normal in G. Then for any element H belongs to H, GH G inverse belongs to G capital H G inverse, but that is given equal to H. So therefore, GH G inverse belongs to capital H for all H belongs to H and G belongs to G. Actually, that is the definition of normal subgroup. So this shows H is normal in G. So which proves the result. Now we go for the second result. A group H of a group G, a subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if every right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G. We first take H be a normal subgroup of G. So by previous result, we know that GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G. And we have to prove that every right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G. So multiply from right G to get GH equal to HG using the fact that G inverse G equal to identity and also using the associative property. So therefore, every right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G, which is straightforward. Conversely, let every right coset of H in G be equal to the left coset of H in G. So let the right coset be Hg for G belongs to G, and which is actually equal to the, you take it as left coset xh, that is for x belongs to G, that is Hg equal to xh. In fact, we prove now that xh is nothing but gh only. Now, to prove that, take an element G belongs to Hg, which presents in Hg, which is given as equal to xh, which is a left coset, and also we know that G belongs to gh also, which is a left coset, and G belongs to xh and G belongs to gh, and we know that two left cosets are either identical or disjoint. Therefore, xh equal to gh, and that proves hg equal to gh for all G belongs to G. So now you just take or multiply G inverse from right and apply associative law here to get H equal to H, that is GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G. So which proves GH G inverse equal to H for all G belongs to G. Therefore, H is normal in G. Now corollary, every subgroup of an abelian group is a normal subgroup. That is what we have to prove. And let H be a subgroup of an abelian group G, then we know that if H is a subgroup of an abelian group G, then every left coset of H is equal to the right coset of an element A in G. So every right coset HA of subgroup H is equal to the corresponding left coset AH of H. For it happens for each and every element of G. Therefore, so from result to H is normal in G. Now, a subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if GH G inverse belongs to H for all G belongs to G, H belongs to H. So we consider let H be a normal subgroup of G. Then we try to prove GH G inverse belongs to H for all G belongs to G and H belongs to H. We know that if H is a normal subgroup of G, from the previous result, GH equal to HG, that is every left coset is equal to the every right coset of H in G. So take any arbitrary element H in capital H. Then since we have G capital H equal to HG, so G small h equal to H dash G for some H dash belongs to H. Then if you multiply right from right side G inverse, you will get GH G inverse equal to H dash, which actually belongs to H. That proves GH G inverse belongs to capital H for all G belongs to G, H belongs to H. Conversely, given GH G inverse belongs to H for all G belongs to G and H belongs to H, we have to prove that H is normal in G. To prove that H is normal in G, we prove GH G inverse equal to H. So G capital H G inverse equal to capital H. That is what result 2 says. So now take GH belongs to left coset, be arbitrary, and GH can be written as GHE, and where E is the identity of the group, and E can be written as G inverse G, and use the associativity to get GH G inverse into G, which clearly belongs to HG because GH G inverse belongs to H. That is what given. Which implies each and every element of GH is in HG. That proves GH contained in HG. Again, take small hg belongs to capital HG, that is actually the right coset be arbitrary. Then again with the same idea you write EH as EH and E as GG inverse and use the associativity to get which belongs to GH. That is small hg belongs to the left coset GH. Again that proves each and every element of the right coset Hg is in left coset GH. Therefore, the right coset Hg contained in the left coset GH. From 1 and 2 it shows GH equal to Hg. Therefore, H is normal subgroup of G using the result 2. Or if you multiply from left G inverse, you will get G inverse Hg equal to H, which is also okay, that which proves also that H is normal in G. Next, a subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if the product of two right cosets of H in G is also a right coset of H in G. It happens for left cosets also. Okay, it's a very important result and which plays an important role in quotient groups. Let H be a normal subgroup of G and let HA and HB be any two right cosets of H. We have to prove that HA into HB is what you get is also a right coset of H in G. Consider HA into HB and use the associativity and use AH equal to HA because H is normal. Therefore, AH equal to HA. And from that we get HAB because HH equal to H, that is what we know, which is again a right coset HAB. So therefore, the product of any two right cosets of H in G, that is HA into HB, what we are getting it as HAB is again a right coset of H in G. Conversely, let the product of any two right cosets of H in G be again a right coset of H in G. Okay, now we prove that H is normal in G. Okay, let X belongs to G and then X inverse belongs to G, that we know by inverse law. So therefore, the right cosets, the two right cosets, you can take it as HX and HX inverse. Then Hx into Hx inverse is also a right coset of H in G, that is what given. But we know E is equal to X into X inverse and that again can be written as Ex into Ex inverse. That clearly belongs to Hx into Hx inverse because identity is always in H. Also, it proves we know that identity is always in H, which is again one more right coset of H, remember that. So Hx, Hx inverse and H are two right cosets having a common element E. That is what we proved now. But given Hx, Hx inverse equal to H because two right cosets are either identical or disjoint. That is what we get from Hx, Hx inverse and H are two right cosets having a common element E. Take an element from Hx, H inverse, that is H1x, H2x inverse, which actually belongs to H because Hx, Hx inverse equal to H. So multiply from H1 inverse from left. If I do that, H1 inverse into H1 is actually an identity. Therefore, left hand side what you remind with is X H2 X inverse, which belongs to H1 inverse into H. So, and I know H into H, capital H is always H. So, small h into capital H is always equal to H, that we know. So, therefore, H1 inverse into capital H will become capital H only. So, further, which proves H is normal in G by the definition of normal subgroup. So, this completes the proof of these results.